Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, time for another Q&A session. Got some great questions this week to answer. These are all the questions from the previous Q&A video. And don't forget, if you want this series to continue, we'll need some more questions. So put those questions in the comments box below. So I'm just about to answer the questions. I would put a link to everyone's channel in the description below. So please go and check out everyone's channel. That'd be really awesome. Okay, so let's go for the first question. And it's from Cloverleaf Studio. Thank you for your question. You actually have a couple of questions. So your question is, how do you feel about a 30k Heresy box set, and would you buy it? Now this question actually came up just when the rumours of box sets, the box set was coming. Of course now it's out, the Horus Heresy. Now this is probably, as I've said in the past in my videos, although I am incredibly into the hobby, one thing that I'm not into is the fluff, and this is probably going to be my downfall in terms of my knowledge with what I'm just trying to talk about. I know the Horus Heresy vaguely is like before Chaos became Chaos, like wasn't it Space Marines, and then something to do with Horus made some of the chapters turn into Chaos. Is that right? I have no idea. I think that's right. But anyway, yeah, I don't really know too much about it. I won't be buying the box set. I'm quite happy with everything that I've got. If I am going to invest money in models, I've got a whole bunch of models that I still want to buy. Like a Necron Tesseract Vault, really want one of those. I want another Necron Flyer. You know, I've got a whole host of models that I would like to buy, and I'd rather invest in the armies that I've got than probably start something new. And of course I've still got that Chaos army running right in the background, sort of coming forward quite soon. Probably, maybe this is for another time, another video, but my Space Wolves, of course, are 13th Company Space Wolves, and they are wearing pre-Heresy armour because they've been locked in the Arc Terror for 10,000 years. So I'm sort of thinking that they would be 30k army, potentially, anyway. So maybe I'm already set up to go. Yeah, possibly. But yeah, that's the answer to that question. Your next question is, what is the best table theme layout you've played a game on? Okay, actually there's another question after that. Right, so let's answer this one. My favourite themed table. I don't play on many tables, just my buddy's table, my table. What I can tell you is I think I know the most epic looking table that I played on was when I played Commissar Warwick. That table looked fantastic. I'm really happy how I set up the table. I think that's that big Necron tomb. I know I don't play it very often because it's a big piece. I mean, you put that on the table and you're almost playing on a 4x4 foot table rather than a 6x4 foot table. But it does look really epic on the table. It looks really good. And I think I set up the train. It looked really good. So that's probably my most memorable favourite table theme that I've played on. Your fourth question, what would you like to make for a new home board theme in the future? I know exactly what that would be, although it's probably changed actually. Let me explain. So I've always wanted a snowboard, mainly because of my Space Wolves. The reason why I'm saying, well, that's changed now is because I ended up not actually using snow on my Space Wolves, and I've made them more urban, trying to fit them into my cities of death terrain. But yeah, I've always thought how cool it would be to have a snowboard. And I've got this like little idea where I'd like these footprints in the snow with like a dead Marine on the floor and then blood everywhere and the snow and stuff. I think that would be really cool. So a snowboard, I really like the idea of snowboarding. You don't really see them that much around. Dread Lund, Solvent Abuse, he's just done that little display board with the snow on. That looks awesome. Really great job on that. Thank you for your questions. Alright, next we have SkaredCast. Scary, thank you very much for that. Here's your question. Have you ever thought of doing a campaign for the channel? I haven't thought about doing a campaign for the channel. I thought about campaigns because, you know, who doesn't think about campaigns? It is a pretty cool idea. I've tried it in the past with my buddies when we used to have a bigger gaming group. We used to have a few extra people play. Now it's just me and my couple of buddies. But we did try a little campaign. It was back in, must have been 4th edition. Yeah, 4th edition. Those little missions that I've been playing with my son recently, the 4th edition missions, we used those to play our little campaign. And we had like a map where you fought a battle, and whoever won owned that section of the map, and then you could get to challenge the next person in the map. But we never finished the campaign because it just seems we were winning one game and claiming the ground, and then the next game we'd lose the ground and then we'd claim it back, and we would just go backwards and forwards, and we ended up just getting bored, I think. So I think the campaign, if we ever did another one, would have to have a proper, easier way to get an ending. So I'm certainly not against campaigns, but to be fair, I've never thought about having one for the channel. Maybe I should. I don't know. Would you like to see that? Would you like to see a campaign between Necrons and Blood Angels? If you've got any campaign ideas for us, let me know. Cool, yeah. Next is Invasive Wargaming. You should definitely go and check his channel out, especially if you're into Tau. He's done some great Tau videos. But yeah, let's have his question. So, how long did it take you to settle into the "I'm Nick and welcome to this video" intro? Yes, okay, that's quite an interesting question actually. Although of course it's not "I'm Nick," it's Nick speaking. So pretty much from the beginning I sort of came up with it. So as I said before, my inspiration was Fritz, and I seem to remember Fritz used to say, "Fritz here," and I sort of had to come up with something, and I started my first couple of videos with Nick speaking, and my buddy who helped me open the YouTube channel, because I'm not particularly computer literate, or certainly I wasn't then anyway, I am a lot more now I think. Anyway, he helped me open up the channel, and he said, "Oh yeah, you should make that your slogan, Nick speaking," and it became a bit of a joke, but it sort of stuck, and now it's what I do. The welcome to this video came a lot later. It's almost like Nick speaking wasn't enough, so Nick speaking, and this is what I've done. It just doesn't work, so it's like Nick speaking, welcome to this video, and then you can go for it. So that just naturally came in. Now thinking about it, I know exactly where the Nick speaking comes from. It comes from my dad. My dad was a massive fan of audio recordings, the big open reel tapes, and used to do voice recordings. I always remember my dad used to say, because my dad's name's Tony, he used to always say Tony speaking, and it must have been a subconscious thing that I chose that. So quite interesting for me anyway, probably not for you. Right, next question. Tom the Ascendant. What is your view on the new Tau scenery? My view on the new Tau scenery is yes! Games Workshop, well done. I've always said it, GW should 100% make scenery for all the armies. It'd be awesome. I think they've missed a trick really. I mean, obviously they recently come into it with the fortifications, but even then I think they missed a trick. I mean, why not make a Necron defence line? A Tyranid defence line, there's so much opportunity for them. I'd love it. I think it'd be awesome for them to make Necron kits. Obviously, they're catering for Space Marines quite well. I absolutely love the Cities of Death, the building terrain that they do. I think it's awesome. But how great would it be to have some of those Xenos terrain bits from GW? The new tower stuff looks pretty cool. It's quite interesting. I don't know 100% too much about it, but I believe you can move the thing, but the men don't count as moving, so they can still shoot the heavy guns. Pretty good rule. So yeah, I think it's brilliant. I say well done, GW. Next question is going to be a challenge to say the channel name, but it's E-TRON, aka NORT-E, I think. For you, do you play Xbox or PS4? If so, what is your favourite games, and what do you think of the new Assassin's Creed being in London? Thank you for your question. I don't play Xbox or PS4. I have a PS2. Yeah, PS2, which I bought a long time ago, mainly because my wife wanted one. We've got Lego Star Wars, Lego Indiana Jones, a few rubbishy games. We don't really play it much now. I'm not into gaming really, to be fair. It's too much of a time consumption. Plus I find the games too difficult. I'm old school. I grew up with Space Invaders. I have Minority Report. I can't get out of the first room. Yeah, I'm useless. What do I think of the new Assassin's Creed being in London? I have no idea. I don't even know what that means. Assassin's Creed is obviously the latest computer game, but being in London, I don't know what that means. Is it? I don't know. I can't answer that because I don't actually know what it means. Sorry. Pete's from Mini Warzone. He says, let's say that the zombie apocalypse is upon us and you are allowed to own any handheld weapon from any universe, real or fiction. What weapon would you choose and why? Thank you, Pete, for that question. Probably the only question, when I read these questions, the only one that I thought, how am I going to answer that? A handheld weapon. If it was in a zombie invasion, I'd be looking for a weapon which has the most widespread killing power. So I can kill as many zombies as I could, because I would just imagine like being surrounded by all these zombies coming to me. So I'd go for the biggest killing power possible. Not a pie template because they scatter. I'm thinking an apocalyptic, what's it called, Hell Flame thing. The very large flamer template, 18-inch flamer template. That would be pretty cool. I'd go for one of those. Whatever gun uses that massive flamer template with the highest amount of strength and killing power as possible. I don't know what that gun's called, but that's the gun I want. Yeah. Failing that, just a heavy flamer. But yeah, I think the biggest flamer I could get. Plus, who doesn't love using flamers? Is it just me, or do you not just get your flamer out and go? Is that just me that does that? Yeah, okay. Right, next question is from Skarnir, I believe. Skarnir. Do you have any advice for players who have massive armies but don't have much painted and dread the thought of painting their massive collection that keeps growing? I do have advice for that. Arguably, I've answered some of it in my The Wonders of Motivation video. But just quickly run through a few things. So I've been in this position where almost been in this position. I've had a whole army built. My Tyranids were totally built, but bar obviously adding a few models, but pretty much had the base built, unpainted, and also my Eldar army built before painted. So I've been in the position I've had a lot of models to paint, not necessarily dreading the thought of painting them, but you know, so I've been in that position. And the way I go about it is I play the game, I play with unpainted models. I do. Or I did. So yeah, start your game, play with unpainted models, get a feel for the units, get a feel for the army, and then you'll gradually work out which units you either like playing or which units perform the best, and you'll gradually get a feel for the units that you use the most. And those are the units that you want to start painting. Very, very quickly you will notice that you'll be starting to play with painted armies. So even if you had, say, 7,000 points of Tyranids, you know, don't bother painting the units. Like, say, look at HQ and say, well, what HQs do I normally use? Maybe I use Death Leaper and Winged Flyrant, you know, Winged Hive Tyrant. You might look at it and say, well, I've got Old One-Eye, but I don't use him. Well, don't paint Old One-Eye. Paint the stuff that you play. Same with your troops, you know. Maybe you use Gene Stealers a lot. Maybe you use your Gants a lot, but you don't use Warriors. It doesn't mean you can't paint the Warriors, but don't paint them first. So start painting the units that you use. Gradually, actually, when you play, you'll see your army starting to come together, and it's going to look awesome, and you think, wow, that looks really good, except that unit now is not painted. And then you think, right, that's how I'm going to paint that one. And you gradually get your army painted. That's what I did anyway. I noticed that's what really helped me, was just picking the units that you play. You can gradually see the army come together, and it gives you motivation to paint the next unit that maybe isn't painted within that list. Definitely don't look as the whole army, my god, I've got to paint everything. Just pick one unit at a time and paint one unit at a time. That's my advice, apart from probably going worth having a look at my motivational video if you haven't seen it already, because there might be some other stuff in there, and also my batch painting video. I know it's quite old, but it's got some pretty decent tips in there. I actually rewatched it myself and I thought that is actually a pretty good video, Nick. So yeah, go and check that out, especially if you've got a lot to paint. So the next question is from Mike. Crew Orangealisis. I think I must be the only person on YouTube that can't pronounce that now. Sorry, Mike. What is the most amount of time you spent painting a single mini? How many hours was it? And what was the mini? And was it worth it? Great question. This is a tough one to answer because I haven't necessarily timed all of the models that I've painted. I know that my 4-year-old avatar was 41 hours to paint, because I did time that, and indeed I ran a little competition, like a little giveaway for people to guessing how many hours it took me. And yeah, it was 41 hours. Now that was quite a reasonable amount of time, and there's only one model that possibly may have beaten it, and that was my Eldar Wraith Knight, which I painted totally with brushes, no airbrushes, so that did take me a long time. I do remember that even just base coating it took forever. So I know I put a good amount of hours into that. I even did the freehand and stuff on there, did all the weapon options, and I did that, like, basically I painted a speeder on his base as well. So if I had to guess, I would probably say that did take more than 41 hours, but I can't actually say because I don't actually know. But that's as close as answer I can get. Thanks for your question, Mike. Next question is from Wargames, Martin McNeil. If you could range your game against anyone in the YouTube world, regardless of country, etc., who would you want to play? I like that question, that's a good question. Number one person would have to be Fritz. Who wouldn't like to play Fritz? Now I know my good buddy Dunk 1978 Banker, his channel name, but Dunk, he's played Fritz, and as they would say in Essex, I was well jealous. Yeah. I'd love to play Fritz. So that's just been really cool. What an experience that would be. Very, very cool. I'd love to play Gamza, because Commissar Gamza, I think he'd be so much fun to play. He's such a funny guy. Love to play him. There's quite a number of people, really, to be fair, but I would say probably they're my top 2 players that I'd like to play. Obviously, Martin, I'm going to be playing you at some point. There's no shadow of a doubt we're going to get together at some point and have a game. So you are, of course, on the list. Right, next question. And this is the last question, sort of. Keep watching. This question is from Grawley's Lair. You always come across as chilled and laid back. Do you meditate to keep your composure? I don't meditate. In actual fact, I don't usually relax. I don't normally just stop. Excuse me. Not unless I'm forced to. What I mean by that is if the wife is here and she wants to sit on the sofa and watch telly, then obviously that's what I'm doing, and I do enjoy that. But when the wife's not here, I'm pretty much just busy. So I don't really relax. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a chill person. I would say I'm a reserved person. Yeah. That's how I would describe myself, I think, more than chilled. I don't think I'm chilled and laid back. I would say I'm reserved, which may give the appearance of being chilled and laid back. Yeah. So as I said, that was the last question, but there's something wrong, because I have not had the obligatory Star Trek question. And I can't do a Q&A without a Star Trek question, so I'm going to ask a Star Trek question to myself. Nick, what do you think about the new TV series of Star Trek that's going to be coming up soon to celebrate the 50 years of Star Trek? What a great question, Nick. Thank you for that. I think it's absolutely awesome and I can't wait! Awesome. It's amazing news. Fantastic news. I'm so excited. It's going to be awesome. Really, really awesome. A bit of me is wondering if it's going to affect some of the fan-based stuff that's been happening lately, like the Kickstarter Star Trek and that. Is it going to affect that? I don't know. We'll have to see. But I think it's amazing news. So yeah, I can't wait. Right, that's it. That's the questions done. So really hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks to everyone who posted questions. Please post some more questions for me, because without those questions I can't make any more Q&As. That's it from me. Thanks for watching.